Hello, Shakers. Welcome back. This is our 50th episode. We'd like to start off by saying thank you for shaking. I know you wouldn't like that.
Why'd you laugh? Why'd you laugh after you told our audience to thank them for shaking?
Because I am thankful that they're shaking. Without them, what would we be?
We'd be unshook.
We'd be unshook.
Guys, we're milkshakes and you have to shake us.
You gotta shake us.
And in honor of our 50th episode, this will be the first episode that gets 50 million views.
Our 50 million for 50.
50 million for 50. We just decided.
Yeah, and you know what they say. When we decide something, it happens.
So go right now. If you're on YouTube, look at the view count. If you're on Spotify, just take our word for it. 50 million views for our 50th episode.
And we're so grateful for our 50 million shakers. Thanks for shaking.
All 50 million
All
of
50
you.
million of you.
Midnight Milkshake.
50 million is like, it's only, I'm doing some math in my head right now, just so you know, that's what the delay is.
Well, it's only 1,050,000 times.
It's only 1,050,000 times on, like, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
But
it's 25 million 2 times.
That's so real. Or it's 10 million 5 times.
I'm kind of amazed in this moment that I had to drop down a math track in high school because it seems like my numbers are really on point right now.
Well, you got those quick maths ready to go.
50
Mental
is 10 times 5.
50 is 1 times 50.
7 times 7 is 49. That's not what we want. We want 50.
No, it's not our 49th episode. It's our 50 millionth.
My freshman year math teacher is like, you have a C minus and it's only going to get worse. And I'm like, but 10 times 5 is 50. And they're like, that's not what we do here.
Your math teacher doesn't even know that your 50th episode of your Midnight Milkshake podcast is going to get 50 million views.
She was an old woman. She might be dead.
Rest in peace.
Unless you're alive, in which case, keep fighting the good fight.
Or does she deserve peace? It seems like she didn't have faith in you.
But she was correct. That was also the amazing thing about when you drop a math track in high school, it feels so important. And then you realize, like, it's the same degree. It's the same shit.
Well, dropping a math lane in high school literally doesn't matter unless you're trying to like major in some sort of math or science at an elite institution.
Well, I remember my parents had to come into the school with me and we had like an early morning, like 7 a.m. meeting about what was going on in my advanced math class. And like the teacher was just like, well, what's going on is your son's bad at math.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, there's no way. We think he should be in the advanced track. And here's the thing, it didn't matter.
You know what I realized is that parents who considered themselves good at math had such an ego about their kids' specifically math abilities.
Yeah.
Like my parents were so freaking concerned about me being good at math because it was like the only thing that they were good at. And so it was almost as if I wasn't good at math. It's because they didn't pass that down or something. Or my deep suspicion is neither of them were as good at math as they claimed. And my kind of deficiency in math was just proof that they'd always kind of been tooting their own horn and like lying. You know?
Interesting. So you think that if they were the mathematicians they always presented themselves as, their genes in math would be stronger.
And I will say, like, one time I asked my dad for help with my 9th grade homework, and my dad was, my dad was a nuclear engineer in the Navy and a chemical engineer, and he, like, went to Stanford. I'm not saying my dad wasn't good at math at the time, but I remember asking him for help with my 9th grade algebra homework, and he, like, couldn't fucking help me. And granted, I know that math is one of those things that you have to practice regularly or you do kind of, like, lose the ability to do it, right? Question mark.
Yeah.
But, like, when I noticed that he couldn't help me with my 9th grade math homework, a lot of questions started to form. Where I was kind of like, what were you doing?
Is this all a facade?
Yeah.
Does the emperor have no clothes?
Does the emperor have no math ability?
Yeah.
Is the emperor bad at math?
Is the emperor bad at math? Well, I had this memory of one time I was on a family vacation.
Yeah.
I was on a family vacation and I had Kumon that I had to do. We've explained Kumon before. Kumon is a math and reading program for broken children.
Well, Kumon was psychological warfare launched against millennials by boomer parents.
It's math and reading, and my parents only made me do math Kumon. You want to know why? Because I fucking liked reading.
Right.
They're like, well, then that would defeat the exercise. If he's having a fine time reading, then he won't be fucking miserable. And why make the kid do Kumon? But we were on a family vacation. So but I had Kumon I had to do, and I like really was struggling. And my dad let my sisters and my mom go play by the pool, and he sat with me in this motel room and forced me to do Kumon worksheets all day.
Which just proved to me that boomers are addicted to misery.
I'm just like, we're on a vacation, man.
Come on. The freak?
And it didn't serve me at all.
No.
Yeah. But again, I'm like, and in some ways it's like, well, it was nice of my dad to sit in there all day with me. But again, that's Stockholm Syndrome. I'm literally well, it's nice of my dad to help me spend 12 hours doing Kumon when I'm supposed to be by the pool. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Why not just let me go to the pool?
Well, I know so many kids have Stockholm syndrome because sometimes they'll sit around and be like, well, at least all my basic needs were met. At least I was fed and clothed. It's like,
well, yeah, if you weren't fed and clothed, your parents would be in prison.
they'd be in jail.
That's always my thing. Parents always want credit for stuff that would literally land them in prison if they didn't do. I put a roof over your head, as opposed to what? Chain me up in the yard?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? You got to put a roof over my head.
That's the law.
I do remember one time I was being really obnoxious as a kid, and my family was going to go see Lilo and Stitch, the original, in theaters, not to date myself. And I was being really annoying, and my dad was like, "Hey, Robert, if you don't apologize, you're not going to be able to see Lilo and Stitch." And I said, "I'm not apologizing. Yeah, you're obviously going to let me see Lilo and Stitch." And my dad did the old dropped everyone else off at the movie theater, and he started to drive me out of the parking lot. And by the time we were outside the parking lot of the AMC theaters, I broke. I was like, "I'm sorry. I want to see Lilo and Stitch."
You just couldn't hold out.
I couldn't hold out. I was weak.
Yeah.
I was weak. I was broken by the Kumon. Once Kumon breaks you, you're kind of on like a knife's edge throughout your whole day.
I mean, maybe that's the real reason parents do Kumon, so they don't have to break their kids themselves.
Kumon will break you.
Yeah.
Dude, going back to what you said, though, here's the thing. I think that you can like have a natural inclination towards like, you know, music, for example. You can be a naturally good singer, but if a kid is good at math, that just means their parents hate them.
That's so true.
Being good at math is literally just like your parents have just mentally broken you, because no one comes out the womb knowing calculus. It's like, so if a fourth grader knows calculus, their parents should be in jail.
Right. Like that kid is being forced to do calculus in all of their free time. This is something really funny my mom would always say, is there'd be these YouTube videos of like these 3-year-olds performing extremely complex piano concertos. And my mom would always say, what you can't see are the belt lashes under their little tiny suits.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever a child is a piano prodigy, it's like, one, they're so talented. Good job, little buddy. And two, where are their parents? We have some really serious questions about how you've been treating these children.
Their parents need to be in prison.
Well, again, no kid can naturally play piano. So it's like, if you see like a little kid like playing really complicated piano, it's like their parents beat them.
Yeah, their parents beat them. If the kids are really good at piano or math, their parents are beating them.
Well, I always thought this, when they would always say this about like Michael Jackson. Well, they said a lot about Michael Jackson, but they would always say about Michael Jackson, it's like, well, he's really talented because his dad would like hit him. And they always connect like Michael Jackson's dad beat him, therefore Michael Jackson is super talented.
Therefore beating is good.
Therefore beating is good. But I'm like, Michael Jackson's dad beat his brothers and sisters, I
right,
assume, and
yeah.
not as good.
That's
he probably
so
beat
real.
them the same.
Dude, it's top performer sibling bias.
Yeah.
When it comes to child abuse.
Also, when people say stuff about that, they're like, you know, Michael Jackson's dad hit Michael Jackson and abused Michael Jackson, and then Michael Jackson became a very rich, successful musician. And it's like, oh yeah, anything else happen with Michael Jackson that we want to comment on? Were there any other were there potentially any other effects from his childhood of abuse?
Do you just mean his gambling addiction?
Not Michael Jordan.
Oh, right.
You thought I was talking about Michael Jordan this whole time?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jordan's dad, I think he got along with his dad.
Didn't his dad die because he was a gambling addict?
Okay, there's a conspiracy theory that Michael Jordan's dad was. This is just a conspiracy theory that I do not believe, but I
believe it.
The theory, you're just choosing to believe it because you like contrarianism. But the theory is that Michael Jordan had a lot of gambling debts, and then his dad was murdered as a way to like you force him to pay or something. That's also the theory, the conspiracy theory that, again, I actually don't personally believe, that the reason Michael Jordan had to leave basketball at the height of his success to go play baseball was really that was an NBA suspension under the table for gambling because he was like a known gambler. I mean, to me, if I'm being honest, I think it's just like, I think Michael Jordan was just cool as hell doing cool shit. Like, I think he would stay up all night gambling and then he would go like win the NBA finals. And I'm like, I think he was just cool like that.
So you think it was just a random side quest?
Well, I think it was a random side quest. Why not? I also think like the conspiracy theory is like, you're just trying to like somehow like explain away someone being cool.
Here's the thing. The majority of people who publicize conspiracy theories and like to share conspiracy theories online are undeniably, indisputably of the loser variety.
Of course.
And so I think sometimes, you know, there's a little bit of loser bias in a lot of what they're alleging.
Conspiracy theories have a distinct loser bias.
And I'll give them that. And like we always talk about with the majority of conspiracy theorists on the internet, they do look like they can't even shower. So the idea that they wouldn't believe that someone could like just want to play professional baseball, that would track.
A conspiracy theorist would be like, this businessman is actually in league with the devil. And I'm like, yeah, just looking at you, someone just being able to take a shower and put on a suit and show up to the office every day, you would be like, well, you need the devil for that.
Yeah, they're like the dark side of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's like the person is using soap.
Yeah.
Hypothetical scenario. Would you rather me be 1 inch taller than you or you be 1 inch shorter than me?
So for context, you're about, wow, how tall are you?
For context, I'm 4'11" and a half.
And I'm 5'10" and a half. But 5'10". I'm an average height. You're particularly short.
I'll say I'm 4'11". I'm exceptionally short. Robert's 5'10". He's exceptionally average.
I would go ahead and say that if I had to either grow you up to my height or shrink me down to your height, I'd shrink me down for this distinct reason. My height doesn't inform my personality at all. I have an average height. It's never really been a factor in who I am as a person. You define yourself based on how short you are.
Well, the world defines me based on how short I am.
Yes.
I have to kind of have a loud, big personality because otherwise I would just simply be ignored.
So I think that anyway, in any relationship, the person who should have to change their height is the person who's least defined by their height. Because if I made you 5'10", it would shatter you psychologically because who even are you anymore?
Well, I just wouldn't have this personality at 5'10".
Yes.
I probably would be much more demure. I think I would be a supermodel because I do have the face for it. You disagree?
I don't disagree. I just think it's very interesting. And I would say that confidence is what kind of you've had to develop as a short person.
It is. Also, again, here's the real thing about short people who love to say that they would be models if they were tall is that they can say that because there's no proof that that's not true because there's no way for them to become tall and find out.
Well, it's the way short guys are always like, if I was taller, I'd be the NBA.
Right.
It's like,
exactly.
Really?
It's like, really?
And again, meanwhile, every tall guy I know, the vast majority of them are not in the NBA. They're like working at FedEx. No shame in that, but it's like this idea. I think short people have this idea that if they just got a little taller, it'd be rainbows and sherbet for breakfast, you know?
Well, it would be rainbows and no food for breakfast because I'd have to be on a diet because I'm about to walk the Victoria's Secret runway show.
Are there not short models?
So that's a really good question. I grew up in the 2000s as someone who watched ANTM, America's Next Top Model, one of the best reality TV shows of all time. Shout out Tyra Banks. Thank you for your service. But on America's Next Top Model...
Thank you for breaking those women, Tyra, for our enjoyment. Thank you.
On America's Next Top Model, it basically was asserted that you have to kind of be over 5'8" to really be in contention for any serious runway or editorial modeling. Mm-hmm. And then petite models were considered between 5'4" and 5'7". So when I was younger, I was like, oh, good, I can be 5'4" and then I can be a petite model.
You didn't even get there.
Not even freaking close. I didn't even hit the fives. You know what I'm saying? But like when I was little, I remember being like, no, I could grow. Like I could be tall. I could be tall.
Were you the shortest one in your class?
I was always the shortest one in my class from kindergarten through whenever they stopped making you do the humiliation ritual that is lining up in height order before picture day.
I don't understand why that's a humiliation ritual.
Well, it's because you were never the shortest. So yeah, you were never humiliated.
But nor was I ever the tallest. I was never the tallest. I was always in the middle. It just seemed like, also like what? People knew you were the shortest. It's not like by making you line up, anyone was learning something that everyone didn't already know.
I would always try to cheat and stand on my tiptoes and I'd get caught.
Why would you stand on your tiptoes?
Because I didn't want to be the last in the line. Like
but
I
what,
didn't.
Second to last in the line? Is that really that big a difference?
To me, it was because it meant that I wasn't like the ist. I think in my life, I've always been the ist, like the shortest,
the loudest,
the annoyingest.
Yeah.
The funniest. No, people didn't really think I was funny until much later in my life. If they even ever did.
Yeah, people didn't think I was the funniest until much later in my life. Later than even now.
Yeah, like it hasn't happened yet.
Right now, they don't think that about me.
Just wait.
But here's my thing. I guess for me, it's like if you're gonna be to me, I'd rather be the shortest than the second to last shortest. Like I'd rather be the tallest than the second most tall.
A lot of my early life was wanting desperately to blend in, which you wouldn't have known if you knew me because you would have thought I was trying to get attention the way I was moving. Yeah. I wasn't. Like I genuinely I was making moves that were drawing a lot of attention toward me, but I always was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why is everyone always looking at me? Like, that was my whole, dare I say, like, early elementary school career was like, why is everyone fucking looking at me? Why is everyone looking at me? You know?
And then eventually you grew up to someone who's like, everyone, why isn't anyone looking at me?
And I'm like, why isn't anyone looking at me quick? And then I reverted to my old tactics because they worked.
Standing on your tiptoes?
Just like kind of being really odd.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But no, I wanted to blend in so badly. Like I told you, I hated that no one in my class had my same name because I always wanted to be like an Annie S or like an Emma R or like a Jessica L. Like I didn't want to be like Dana. Like there was never a Dana. I never had to be Dana D because there was never another Dana in my class.
But again, I'm so confused. I guess you're going to blend in, but like to me, I'm like having the same name as other people would make you stand out. So if you're going to blend in, wouldn't you want to be the only person with your name in your class?
No, it makes you blend in because you're just one of the many Sarahs. You're one of the many Britneys. I was the only Dana. And it was very hard.
How was that hard for you?
Because it just made me so unique. I was a target. Everyone was like, Dana, what kind of name is that?
No one was like that.
They
Dana's
were.
a normal name.
No,
Dana's
they were.
a normal name.
No, it's not. And they were like, what kind of name is that? And even at the movies the other day, remember I swiped my card and the lady goes, oh, my mom's name is Dana. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, I don't never meet too many days. She goes, yeah, you're only like the fifth one I've met.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a perfectly pleasant, casual interaction.
Totally, but my point is that she only knew 5 Danas. Well, that's was why my Instagram handle used to be Hottest Dana, because I was the hottest Dana in the world, because there aren't that many Danas.
But I thought you were trying to blend in. So why are you trying to be the hottest?
That's later in my life, but it was still ironic.
What changed? What made you go from I'm trying to blend in to fuck it, I'm gonna stand out?
Realizing that I was gonna stand out regardless and wanting to at least take ownership over the way I was standing out.
You know, I will say that is something I would say that I probably went through as well, where it's like early on you just want to fit in with everybody, and then you have to realize the specific, and then you get upset because you're standing out, and then you realize the specific ways in which you stand out, and you're like, may as well double down on those.
Exactly, and you have to double down on those because you realize that they actually can't be effectively muted.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't really work, because when you try to mute the things that make you stand out, you ultimately just become like literally nothing / like really unlikable.
Yes.
Like it actually makes you way less likable to dull down your extremely unlikable characteristics, which seems counterintuitive.
Yes.
Okay. But back to the height thing with you. I would love if you were an inch shorter than me. That would just, like, ever since we started talking about it, I find myself, like, wishing you were 1 inch shorter than me. That being said, I do worry that we would become the target and or victim of hate crimes, because I just think walking down the street, we would look so conspicuous and odd.
Wait, because we're both short, people would hate crime us?
I think so. I think if people saw like two
really
4'11", a little 4'11" couple, also because we both have like kind of exaggerated features and we're kind of like loud and weird.
Yeah.
I feel like we would become some sort of freak show. Like, and I love that, but I am like, I would worry about our safety.
If we're both 4'11", you think people would just see us on the street, stop and beat the fuck out of us just because we're both short?
I worry about
happen
that.
To short people.
I think it might happen to us if we were both short.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
That being said, I also think that we would definitely have to start a couples dance account if we were both short.
You think the thing stopping us from having a couples dance account now is that we're different heights?
Well, I just don't think right now we have any sort of like real visual strikingness or significance.
I think we're striking. I think we're visually quite striking.
I think if we were both the same height, that would blow people's fucking minds. It would blow people's minds.
Well, okay, you know what I am a little worried about?
Yeah.
And I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I'm worried about this. I'm worried that if we were the same height, you would always be weighing both of us and comparing.
Well, I would be really worried that you would weigh less than me.
But
if we were the same height.
It's like that would just, to me, that's not even something to conceive of, to think about.
What do you mean? Of course that it would be like a new metric. I'd have someone that I could actually compare myself to.
That's the word. But again, why would you compare yourself to me just because we're the same height? We're still completely different people.
I know, but I just know that I would be upset if you weighed less than me. Do you think you'd weigh less than me?
I don't at all, actually, because I think I'm much denser than you. I'm also much more kind of built out than you.
But I think like right now, given our height to weight ratios, I'm pretty sure you would weigh less than me.
I don't think
because
I would
they
weigh
say
less than you.
I told you this, but they say that it's 5 pounds for every inch.
Who's they? Who's they?
The ED mafia on the internet.
Yeah, the ED, the crazy girls. Who's they? The cashiers at Brandy Melville? Your favorite scientists?
My favorite scientist, the cashiers at Brandy Melville. It's like that's like a known thing. They say 5 pounds for every inch.
I've never heard that before. I don't even understand that.
They say that the ideal weight for a woman is 100 pounds for the first 5 feet and then 5 pounds for every inch after that. But that seems like so skinny.
That seems like some
really skinny.
boomer devil magic.
I mean, I think it is boomer devil magic.
Yeah.
I think it's the parents who are really good at math.
The parents who are good at math.
The boomer parents are really good at math.
Parents who make their kids good at math, that's just like subtext for like they want you to have an ED when you get older.
Yeah.
They're like teaching their young daughter, like they're everything they say to the young daughter is criticism, and everything they're teaching their young daughter is how to compare numbers and how to track numbers. And I'm like, you're just setting them up for a brutal middle school, high school.
Again, I will say, I think I'm better at mental math than most people because of calorie counting.
That's so
It's
depressing.
really sad.
Yeah.
I'm not
But it does
proud.
kind of confirm what we're saying. Anytime someone has like an abnormally good skill, there more often than not is kind of a tragic story behind it.
That's really true. Yeah.
And you know what? I do oftentimes think when parents, when parents want to give their kids a new skill, make them good at math, make them learn an instrument, what they really want is to make them unhappy. And here's the thing, I'm not even necessarily saying that as a bad thing, because I do think there is an element to, you need to condition people to be able to do activities they don't necessarily enjoy in order to derive greater joy in the long run.
For a period of time that makes them unhappy. Yeah.
I think that's true. But I would always use this as an example. Like my parents made me play piano from the age of 5 until I was 18. They made me stick with it. And they made me take piano lessons every week and do piano practice every day. And they were really about, you've got to play an instrument, you've got to play an instrument, you've got to play an instrument. But then 7th grade rolls around, and that's when my school started offering band, and I picked up the saxophone. And look, in large part because I knew how to play piano, I picked up the saxophone really quickly, and I was really good at the saxophone, and we had to do practice 3 days a week for school. So I said to my parents, like, hey, you say I need to play an instrument, but could I quit piano now that I'm playing saxophone? Because I'm doing more practices. Could I quit? And they were like offended and annoyed that I even suggested such a thing. And I'm like, well, in theory, the saxophone would be filling the same instrument void, but it's like, no, it wouldn't be filling the misery void.
Yes.
And they want that misery void filled.
Ultimately, it's about creating a misery void.
Yeah.
It's about making you miserable. It is an attack on your joy and your spirit.
Well, a lot of activities, I do think parents, they sign their kids up for activities that they think their kids will hate, and their kids love them, and their parents don't like that because it was meant to be a misery void.
Yeah,
filled.
You turned what was meant to be a punishment into a gift, and they don't like that.
They're not into that
They're
at
not
all.
into that at all. Well, I think, okay, you know when I stopped getting timeouts? When I started liking timeout. When I started like loving to be in my room alone for hours, my parents stopped putting me alone in my room for hours. Well, isn't that funny? Like I distinctly remember like my punishment when I'd have like a tantrum or whatever would be my parents would like lock me in my room for like an hour or whatever. Probably wasn't even an hour because you know your sense of time when you're young is like a minute feels like 10 years. But they'd put me in my room alone and I would like wail and beat and bang on the door and stuff like that. And then the second that I like was like, oh, I'll just like not wail on the door and like I'll just try to have a good time. And I remember that's when I got really into like fantasizing and making up stories in my mind and like daydreaming.
Yeah, going fucking insane.
Yeah. And pretty soon after that, once I stopped knocking on the door to try to get out, they just stopped putting me in there.
No, I will say in your parents' defense, I would say the fact that you're not banging and wailing on the door is a sign that you're not throwing a tantrum, which would be a sign that you have earned your way out of timeout. So there is a read of that's more glass half full.
I guess so. No, that makes sense.
My parents would always, I'm remembering now, they would always leave me in the car while they ate dinner. That was a punishment I got a lot.
I loved being left in the car when my mom was doing errands. It was like one of my favorite things in the world. I'd always be like, can I sit in the car?
That's wild.
Yeah.
My parents would make me come in, but it's like if they're all going out to dinner or something, like I remember they were all in Steak and Shake, and it's one of the few vivid memories from middle school. It's like me in the car after probably just like saying some outlandish shit to piss them off, and my family's inside at Steak and Shake having a good time, and I'm just pressed against the window.
Dude.
In the car.
That's very Evan Hansen of you.
Yeah.
Leaving through a window.
Yeah, I don't know the plot of Evan Hansen. Is that he's a fucking nightmare.
And his parents leave him in the car when they go to Steak and Shake.
Yeah, they should do like a
Did they get you food while they were inside?
I would eat food later, but not Steak and Shake. That was the whole thing because the reward is going out to eat.
So what would you eat? What was your punishment?
I don't know. They'd probably just make me like some like fucking dog shit cooking or whatever.
That's evil.
Yeah. But I mean, again, they wouldn't give me food, and they would just go home. I would get a home-cooked meal, so I don't want to imply whatever.
Yeah, but they'd eat Steak and Shake, and then they give you some freaking shit at home?
Yeah, that was the punishment. That's why it's a punishment, I suppose.
Did you stop doing that? Did you stop getting punished?
Eventually, that punishment, it stopped being used on me. Maybe it was only used a couple times.
That is something I'm really grateful for that my parents never used as punishment was, like, good food. Like, they never were like, oh, if you're bad, you don't get, like, food. Like, that was never on the table.
They didn't, to be clear, they didn't deprive me of food. I was fed.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know.
Wow.
Steak and Shake, I remember it.
That would like drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah, you'd wail in the window.
Right. If you left me in the car when you were eating a good meal, then I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be so pissed. I'd probably break the car. I'd probably like key the car. I'd probably deflate the tires.
You know what I feel like you would do if we were the same size? You would always you'd like be picking me up and shit.
Oh,
you'd
yeah.
be like grabbing me and holding me.
Well, I would also be taking so many pictures of us.
Well, you'd also be like, I feel.
Also, we could share clothes.
Why would we share clothes? I would still be a man. I'd just be a short man.
No, but we'd be the same size. So we could definitely make our wardrobe kind of like a cooler, more unisex energy. I think we could do I think we could be like, I genuinely think if you were also 4'11", we'd get so famous so fast.
I really think it would blow us up. A foot taller than you does anything. If anything, that's kind of a charm to the eye.
I don't think it's a charm.
But then what if we're just two
people
shorts?
People hate like extreme height gap couples like us.
Well, you're probably going to be in a height gap with pretty much everybody. I also don't think people like two shorties walking around.
I think that, again, like I said, I think we'd be beloved and or hate crimed.
So we'd have
we'd have a polarizing effect.
We'd have a real
on the community.
P.T. Barnum circus freak effect, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think we'd have to worry about being collected by some sort of, sociopathic freak like PT. I think that would be a new concern of ours. Would be like,
we'd be worried.
Does he look like a PT?
Kidnapped to taken to some black market circus?
Yeah.
You think that'd be a real concern of ours?
I genuinely do.
You literally think if we're just both 4'11", suddenly the world would become like a Mad Max Fury Road House of Horrors, constantly being kidnapped and imprisoned and just having the shit kicked out of us?
I think so. I also think,
you're short. That hasn't happened to you.
No, but it's because I'm not part of it's when there's two short people together.
Wait a minute.
It's not one short person is nothing to anyone, but like a short couple.
Okay, well, like 2 weeks ago, I was driving around. You weren't in the car with me, and I saw it was two people who were both. I think they were both like 4'10", and all I did was I did park and I got out, and I come to think of it, I did beat the shit out of them and sell them to the black market circus. So by God, I think you're right.
Look, I think we'd have a lot of fun. If you were little.
Do you? Because it seems like you seem to vacillate between we'd be so famous, we'd share so many outfits, we'd be under attack. Oh, we'd be on the cover of every magazine. Well, we'd be in a cage in the sewers.
With visibility comes an inherent risk of danger. It's why famous people spend so much on security.
So they don't get sold into the circus.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I hope that it happens.
Well, that would be a curse.
Don't. That would.
But here's what I do know. You at my height, everything's gone.
Well,
you wouldn't even be yourself.
I think I would think I would fall into a deep depression.
I
think I would have a real loss of identity. I really think it would be hard for me.
I also
think my eating disorder would get out of control.
Well, you don't have one anymore.
No, but it would be back.
Why would it be back?
Because I would feel big. I always think about that.
But you'd be tall.
I'd be tall, but I'd feel big because that's the thing. That's why I would say. Actually, girls at every height suffer from
because you were super short.
Yeah, because I was super short and my knees were.
Yeah, but I would also say this also. It's not like you'd be 6'8" all of a sudden. You'd be like 5'10".
Yeah, I know. I just think I'd be pressured to be thin. I'd have a lot of pressure to be thin.
But also,
the one thing about being short, though,
you are like a skinny person.
No, but if I was 5'10", my proportions would be like I would look hefty.
We're living in an inherent fantasy world of something that will never happen.
Yeah.
So why in the fantasy is there this dark cloud of also all these negative implications? It's a fantasy. You could just remove those. Because
I'm engaging with the fantasy in like a real context where there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
I'm engaging with the fantasy as if it's real. And in any real scenario, there are pros and cons. Like, okay, when I think about like all of my dreams coming true, it's like there's still downsides to all of this.
Yeah, like we're going to be in the circus. We're going to be on the run from the black market circus.
Exactly. P.T. Barnum is on our tail.
I do think if you were my height,
but we have really cute shared outfits.
And so it's kind of like, does one balance out the other? Dana would say yes. I love how you also we do more TikTok dances. Again, it's not like by me becoming your height, I would immediately become under your boot heel. It's not like I would become your servant all of a sudden.
Well, but I would have more physical power.
That's another thing. No, you would not be physically stronger than me. I think that'd be a real wake up call for you. Is like I'm your height and like I can still pick you up and like crack your back and stuff. But like,
I'd be able to pick you up and crack your back.
No, I don't.
That's
think
also
so.
when I could finally crack your back.
That would actually be quite nice.
Because right now it is such that only you can crack my back.
Because Dana can't.
I can't pick Robert up and give him the squeezy.
The old squeezy back crack.
Squeezy back crack.
But I do think if we were at the same height, I think we could play sports together, which would be fun. We could play, I guess tennis would be easier.
I think it would be. I feel like you being tall would be an advantage, especially because when I picture us playing tennis, we're playing doubles against another couple. And I think us being both short in doubles, I think we'd do better in doubles if you had the height advantage.
You would not be my ideal partner in like a double scenario.
But it doesn't matter if I'm your ideal partner because I am your partner and I'm who you're going to play doubles with.
But I guess if I were just draft, if it was a draft.
But it's not a draft.
But I'm saying if it was a draft, I wouldn't draft you because you're not an ideal collaborator in like an athletic context because you hate getting notes, you hate getting feedback, and your number one thing is you don't care about team, you just care about where if the blame goes to you or not. So I think if there was a shot, like a ball that you should have gotten and you didn't, we wouldn't be able to like come up with a plan to prevent that from happening again because you'd be too busy trying to deflect blame from yourself.
No, I wouldn't. I'm telling you right now that I wouldn't. I'm telling you, I'd be a really collaborative. I'd be very sportsmanly.
Say, hey man, that was on me. We'll get them next time.
Not only would I be like, hey man, that's on me. I'd be like, hey, what can I do better next time?
I'd say, you can get the fucking ball.
But that's why maybe you wouldn't talk to me like that. Maybe
but
you'd
that's
be a little
my whole
nicer.
thing. If we were in a true collaboration.
But a true collaboration would involve you talking to me in the way that I need to be talked to in order to hear you and make changes.
Okay, but if you were like, sorry, I missed that one. I'm like, oh, Precious Bear, it's my fault. Actually.
No, you don't have to say it's your fault, but you say, oh, Precious Bear, here's what I think you should do next time.
So we're keeping the Precious Bear.
Precious Bear stays. I liked Precious Bear. Okay. But I think we'd work on it. And again, we haven't entered our tennis doubles journey yet.
Yeah.
But I think when we do, I think if we get our skill level up to an acceptable level, like we're acceptable at tennis, I think we'll be a very in-demand doubles couple because I think that we'd be fun to play with.
I think we would be. I mean, this is, as we often say, it's like, I think we would definitely be in demand.
Yeah.
I think that's true. If we just broke into like the double
If we were
circuit.
just even like kind of
But do you know what I think the problem for us would be? Because I do think if we do lock in psychologically and emotionally, I think we'd fucking win a lot.
No, I think we'd destroy.
And I think the thing is a lot of these kind of leisure sports like golf and tennis, it's a lot of like old rich people who don't actually want to lose, but who also aren't fucking good at sports.
That's so real.
They aren't good at sports.
Well, we definitely probably be like throwing certain games to like get on the good side of like, Hollywood power players.
But we wouldn't be able to throw the game.
Because we'd just be too locked in.
Well, to me, if we're in this phase, we're in this phase.
Right.
I'm trying to win every game. Oh, it's the head of MGM.
Right.
Well, he's going to get the business.
Like the head of MGM is going to be fucking destroyed. He's going to be really embarrassed.
The head of MGM and his fourth trophy wife or whatever, and they're not locked in at all. And meanwhile, you and me are both sweating, and we're yelling at each other, and we're up by like 5 points or whatever. We're sweating. We've been screaming at each other the entire time, cursing each other out, and we just keep smoking them.
Yeah,
because that's what it is.
That's what it's all about.
And then at the end of the day, where we've just literally burned every bridge in Hollywood by destroying all the gatekeepers in couples tennis, we're driving home happy.
Yeah, or ecstatic.
And maybe that's the deal.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it's at.
That would be a fun future.
Yeah,
I don't know
like
about
that.
you.
But again, that kind of goes into what you were saying about me, or criticism of me, is that like, why would you picture the bad parts of thing? But it's like, because that's what's real.
The bad is what's real.
The bad is what's real.
I'm in
about
a cage.
A fantasy.
I'm in a cage. I'm being shown off in the secret circus to like a sheik. But also, I'm getting the most applause from the masked billionaires at the secret circus. And in the competition between the freaks, I would always win, get the most applause, which means the other freak competing, they would be the one who gets their head chopped off in the ceremony.
Exactly. You're always escaping the guillotine in the freak circus by being the best freak.
By just being the best freak.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a clip of Billie Eilish talking about being homeschooled. And this was when Billie Eilish was younger, in context, and she has apologized for it. But Billie Eilish basically says that every kid should be homeschooled by their parents. And the only reason parents don't homeschool is because, quote, they're lazy as fuck. And when parents don't teach their kids, they're basically saying, I don't want to teach you, bitch.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that's a hot take.
To quote her directly, she said, parents send their kids to school because parents be lazy as fuck. Parents be lazy as fuck.
Here's my thing. Homeschool kids talk about their education the way British people talk about their food. And it's in this way where it's like, I don't want to humble you, because in so many ways you've been humbled. Where it's like, look, if someone was homeschooled and they were just like, man, honestly, it wasn't as good at education as I hoped I could get. I also feel like it held me back socially a little bit, but we work with what we've got and I'm moving forward and I feel comfortable with who I am today. I'd say preach, more power to you. Likewise, if a British person is like, hey, there's a lot of great things about Great Britain. There's a lot of things that are really cool about this country. Food, not our strong suit, but anyway, God bless the Queen or whatever they say. I'd be like, respect that. But instead, homeschool kids like cling to this idea that actually homeschooling is the way and everyone should be homeschooled. And no, my education wasn't weird. I'm super normal and everyone should be homeschooled. And British people are like, yeah, you know, I love Friday on toast. And I'm like, just fucking give it up.
Well, it's overcompensation and Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's like the more that they fight, the more that I know that they know in their heart that it was bad.
Well, you know what's funny? Homeschool kids always love to talk about test scores. There was like, well, actually, my test scores were really good. And it's like, right now, I'm giving you a test score in my head. It's minus a million. Social test scores are bad. And again, if you're talking to someone who's not homeschooled, they never bring up test scores. Homeschool kids, they love working their test scores in and how normal they are, which is a sign that you're not normal.
But I've also heard homeschool kids kind of go up against test scores. And like their first entry point is that like, you know, test scores don't even matter.
Yeah.
You know, test scores aren't even real. That's just a test. Well, you were just taught to a test.
Yeah.
You know?
Homeschool kids are like, oh, wow, if a homeschool kid's test scores are worse than like the average for like a public school kid, they go, well, you were just taught to a test.
Yeah.
And if a homeschool kids are better, they're like, see, this is why it's okay that I don't know how to respond when someone says, how are you out on the street? And that's always it. And again, I'm not hating homeschool kids. There are many homeschool kids who had a great education. But also, I was lying when I said that. No, there aren't.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just kind of like, look, man, just like be a little honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think the main reason not to homeschool is because I think it's good for your kid to have to interact with people who aren't fucking you.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the core thing, because like a parent who wants to homeschool their kids, it's never the parent you would think. It's never, because there are a lot of parents of like friends of mine where I'm like, you're so smart and cool. But inherently, you're never the one who wants to homeschool your kids.
Yeah, that's so true. Your friends' parents who are really smart and cool, they're never the ones who are trying to also teach their kid at home.
Yeah.
It's always fucking the freaky ones. It's always the freaky ones.
And by the way, the freakiest parents are the ones who are like, you know, school actually isn't good. And it's like, and you are?
Yeah, and you are?
It's like that thing where you think this entire system is flawed. Okay, we can talk about that. But then your solution is, what if it was me instead? I'm like, what?
I do think in general, what you owe your children as parents is just exposure to data and like unbiased interaction with, again, people who are not you.
Yeah.
Your kid needs to be able to interact with people who are not you.
That's true.
That's true. And then they can decide how normal or not normal you are, how cool or smart you are in relation to people who have nothing to do with you. I think that's important.
Well, here's the thing. When parents homeschool their kids, what I'm really hearing is these parents don't think they can compete with other people in the world for their kids' attention and affection.
I agree.
I think that's like the real thing. A lot of times it's like parents who don't like the idea of like their kid going out and meeting other people who maybe they like more than their weird mom or dad.
Well, also it's like the idea that like parents will be really paranoid, like, oh, like the school's gonna fill your head with lies. And I'm like, if you're not smart enough to like debunk whatever lies you think that your kid is being taught at school, then like then they get to believe the lies.
Then they get to believe the lies.
Like to me, I'm like, whoever is the most convincing liar is the one who gets to control your child's mind.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Dana Donnelly, I love Brandy Melville. The store Brandy Melville, it is a one size clothing store, which means that all the clothing that they sell comes in one size. There are no sizes. When you look through the racks, no small, no medium, no large, just one size. And for the longest time, Brandy Melville was under a lot of scrutiny and ire because the size that they carried was pretty small. It tended to fit best in extra small. I'm 4'11". I've always fit in Brandy Melville. I've never had an issue with the sizing. I think there's certain things that maybe were a little bit too small at times, but I understood like, oh, well, it's one size. Like this shirt fits me. This one doesn't, whatever, blah, blah. I love it. I love this freaking store. It also very much has a reputation of like being for like kind of the California cool girl. It's a cool store, you know, for cool hot teens, right? Recently in the last couple of years, the sizes have gotten a little bit bigger. So like it's still one size, but you can see there's been slight size inflation and people have shown like their Brandy tank top from 2016 and then their Brandy tank top from 2026. And you can see that the cut is clearly a little bit bigger for like a similar tank top. Of course, this has attracted the intense fury of the extra small community. And if you don't know, the extra small community on the internet is a community of people who insist that they are just too tiny to find any clothes that fit them. And they will comment under any person's haul, any person's clothing take, any about some sort of essay about how they can never find clothes that fit them because they are just a quadruple zero and an extra, extra, extra small, and like no clothes fit them because of vanity sizing and because clothes have gotten too big and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. And I think to a certain extent, vanity sizing is real. It's true. Like the zero today is a lot bigger than the zero from 10 years ago or whatever, blah, blah. But that being said, I thought it would be funny to make a joke about how I thought that Brandy Melville's one size so that everyone can be included. They should just change what size their one size is every year. So like next year, it could be a large. The year after that, it can be an extra small again. The year after that, it can be like a quintuple extra small and only an 18-month-old baby could fit into it. And obviously this is a joke. I don't actually think that Brandy Melville should change which size their one size is every year, but the extra small community is enraged. They are up in arms. They are so mad at me. They're basically calling me like a fat whale who thinks that everything should belong to me, even though it's so easy for fatties like me to find clothes and it's so hard for them, skinnies, to find anything that fits them. And they are wasting their very limited caloric energy being very mad at me for this take.
I mean, again, them writing a whole essay in your comments, that essay took a lot.
It took a lot.
They only have a few calories a day to burn, and they're burning them on you.
And I'm honored.
Well, my thing, if you're like in the XS community, first off, the XS community is so offended to have to wear an S. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm a medium, but sometimes I'll wear a large, and
right.
I don't view that as any sort of betrayal. But like the S community, like the XS community, acts like there is no S. It's just XS and FS. It's extra small and then fat small. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, just wear a small. They're like, oh, it's a little bit bigger now. So? But
that's my whole thing. I'm like, people are like, again, the extra small community is the only community that I think is so insistent on clothes being like fucking so tight on them. Cause like, that's also my thing. I'm like, I'm a pretty true small. I wear a small in most things, pants and bottoms. Occasionally, like if a medium's all they have and it's like a little bit looser, I'll just wear a medium. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not that big a deal. But I also know like when I was 15 pounds lighter than I am now, I was a true extra small. And like, again, I agree, like the extra small maybe like isn't like as tight as you'd want it, but like you're skinny. That's what it is.
Well, that's the trade-off.
Like, that's what it is. And like, and then they're like, the only thing that fit me are kids' clothes. Then buy kids' clothes. Like, that's also my confusion. I'm like, why are you so mad? Like, just buy a kid's 12. For the longest time, I mostly wore kids' 12s.
Yeah, go to the American Girl doll store.
Go to the American Girl doll store.
Throw
like,
on a doll shirt.
Throw on a doll shirt. Or like, someone in my comments was saying this too, but it's like, dude, you guys have so much energy to leave these rants about how tiny you are and how nothing fits you. Use that time and learn how to fucking sew.
Like sew their own clothes?
Like, you will alter your clothes. Make them smaller. Learn how to make your clothes smaller.
I guess my thing, clearly it is like, if you're extra small, you shopping at Brandy Melville is a status symbol because like it would be uncouth for you to just brag, I'm extra small. That's uncouth.
Right.
But what you can say, I got this at Brandy Melville, which is you saying, I'm extra small.
Yeah.
But then if Brandy Melville changes their sizes, your ability to brag about being extra small has suddenly been taken away from you. Quick story about Brandy Melville.
Yes.
I recently went to Brandy Melville with Dana, my wife. But of course, when we're there at Brandy Melville, there's nothing for me to buy or really look at. So I just let Dana shop and I kind of like walk a little bit behind her and I'll like look at my phone. But anyway, Dana was looking at some shirts. I was standing kind of in the middle of a walkway, admittedly, looking at my phone waiting. And these two, I think they were like middle school girls. I just saw them in my periphery. They kind of like walked. And in my periphery, they just walked, paused, and then kind of just walked around me and then started looking at clothes like on the other side of me. And then one of them just full volume to her friend goes, I hate when people just stand and look at their phone. It's so annoying we have to walk around. And I'm like, it is that thing where I'm like, maybe it's just the confidence of, dare I say, youth. But I'm like, I can clearly hear you.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything though, obviously, because it's their domain. And I guess at my core, it's like I am out of place. There is nothing. They're correct.
You were a stranger in a strange land. Go back to your country, foreigner.
Which is any of the rest of the mall.
Yeah. Go back to your country. It's just really funny that I think really skinny people act like they're specifically persecuted in the way of clothes not being small enough. And
you don't even need to specify it. Really skinny people act like being really skinny is a problem. And it's just not. No one is going to think of it as a disability. And also, you want to know how I know? Because at any time you could not be. if you're like, it's hard being XS, it's like, then have a Philly cheesesteak.
Well,
solve your problem.
Someone did write me a whole essay about how fast their metabolism was and how they wish they could fit into a normal extra small.
Oh, yeah.
But their metabolism is just so
their
fast and
metabolism
they're
is
so
so
tiny. They're so tiny. I know, it's so sad.
No matter how much they eat, they're still the tiniest person.
But I am like the fact that you guys are leaving these comments, I'm like, it does to me indicate it's giving hangry. It gives hangry. So you're going, I'm naturally so tiny. Da, da, da. If you were naturally tiny, I don't think you would be this mad. That's my real tea. Yeah. I'm like, if you were naturally tiny, I don't think you'd have this level of rage in you. I think the level of rage is coming from a hunger.
Well, I also think that's the whole thing. I make myself hungry so I can be extra small, so I can shop at Brandy Melville and wear one size fits all.
Yeah.
Quite a poem, actually. Quite a, if that would have blown up on like ED Tumblr in like 2012.
Yeah, you would have been huge on Pro Anna Tumblr.
I would have been huge on a horrific Tumblr that we don't approve of course. But again, it's like, but then if you raise the sizes, then suddenly it's like the whole system's thrown off. What will I do to show how small I am?
Well, you're right. There's no status symbol. And I think you actually pointed this out we were talking. But because so much of ED culture is rooted in competitiveness, the second that like a couple people start getting smaller, the people who are already really small have to get even smaller.
Yes.
And that's why the Ozempic is like so actually dangerous, is because what we're seeing actually is we're seeing people who are kind of fat getting not fat. And then people who are not fat seeing the people who are kind of fat get not fat and being like, I need to be skinny so I can differentiate myself from the not fats. And then you're seeing people who are really skinny seeing the not fat people get skinny and going, I have to differentiate myself from like the normal skinny.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like it just becomes...
The problem with Ozempic too is that like a lot of then celebrities who define themselves by being skinny, I think in their own minds, don't even take Ozempic.
No.
But they just look at people who are taking Ozempic to get on their level and they're like, well, I can't let them be as skinny as me. So then they use other ways of getting skinny.
Because skinny is actually relative. And I think like that's the funniest thing about it is it's like, it's obviously there's a level of fat where like you're not healthy, and then there's a level of skinny where you're not healthy.
Yeah.
But like anywhere in between that, a lot of it is just like people comparing themselves to each other and wanting to like be smaller than like someone else arbitrarily.
Well, it's the way that like as soon as I'm shrunk down to your height and size, suddenly a bunch of other people in our lives who are around your size will look at me and be like, well, shit, I need to get shorter because I define myself by being shorter than Robert.
Yes.
And they're going to get their shin shortening surgery.
Right. Everyone who defines themselves as being shorter than Robert will have an identity crisis.
And you know who you are.
And you know you are. And that's it for today, Shakers.
All right, all 50 million of you.
And we love every single 50 million of you.
If you're enjoying a milkshake and shaking it up at the stroke of midnight, all 50 million of you. Or 10 times 5 million.
Or 5 times 10 million.
Or
7 times 7 million plus 1 million.
I'm checking your math. I need a pen and paper.